Welcome to the Whatever This Is show. If you've never seen this before, it's because I've never done it before. Today, I want to talk about the best movie of 2018. It's 2019. All the movies that are going to come out in 2018 have already come out. Because you can't put out a movie in 2018 if it's 2019. So it's not going to happen. So let's talk about the movie. A lot of people probably would think I would choose something like Avengers Infinity War, or maybe go the horror route and say like Hereditary or Quiet Place. Though not particularly a box office smash, a lot of people like the Han Solo movie. Too many to think of. Too many movies to think of that were pretty fantastic last year. However, the movie for me, now this is only an opinion, but it is 100% correct and verified. The movie that is the best for 2018, you haven't even seen it. Scratch that. There's a high likelihood that you've never even heard of this movie. Now, it's not a superhero movie. It's not an action movie. It skirts the line between a drama and a comedy, and it does it very well. Stop stalling. What's the movie? So I was on Reddit one day, and I happened to see a post about a filmmaker, because I follow a lot of subreddits that have to do with filmmaking, because I want to be a filmmaker. I am a filmmaker, but I want to be a more professional filmmaker. I want to actually get paid for what I do. That's not happening. So I was looking at a post by this guy talking about a film that he put in a couple film festivals, Cannes, South by Southwest, a bunch of them. And it kept winning. It kept winning all these festivals and getting featured, and everybody wanted this thing everywhere. And he shared the poster. The poster kind of intrigued me because it looks like this. It doesn't really explain much. It's kind of confusing. And what intrigued me was it didn't have like a wide release or anything like that. I think it hit maybe 30 theaters in the United States, something like that. It wasn't a wide release movie. A lot of people had to special request it to be like in their theater in order to see it. I was not so lucky to see this in theaters, but it is available on Vimeo and like iMovie or whatever Apple has their platform, and a couple other things. So if you ever, want to take in one of the best pieces of cinema for the last year, go check it out. It's awesome. It's great. So the movie's name is Thunder Road, and it's named after a Bruce Springsteen song. And to hear the backstory of how they came up with the guy that did it, Jim Cummings, he's the star, the guy on the poster. He is the writer and the director and a producer, and he did pretty much everything for this film, and then found a great group of people that are willing to take a risk on it and work with him on it, and then he crowdfunded the remaining money that they needed to make this film. It started out as a short, and then they made a feature version of it, and I gotta tell you, like, they're both amazing. The feature version just blows it out of the water. It takes everything from the short that was great and makes it 1,000 times better. What sells this movie? Okay, so let me go over the premise of the movie. I know I'm rambling, but that's because I'm not scripted and I'm just talking. The premise of the movie. So the main character, Officer Arno, which is played by Jim Cummings, is going through a very tough time in his life. So he's got the opening scene is the funeral of his mother, and the whole short is about 13 minutes long, and it's this one-shot opening scene where he's dancing to that song, Thunder Road. And in the movie version, they omit the song, and it makes for a different interpretation, and it actually lands a lot better. I'm rambling. The scene is 13 minutes long. It's a single take. It took him 17 takes to get the shot, but it's a single shot. And I'm so confused on how I'm supposed to feel during most of what goes on in this movie, because to hear the way it's described as a comedy, but the themes are very dark. I mean, the main character is dealing with the death of his mother. He's going through a separation and subsequent divorce, the custody battle over his child, trouble with managing all of that with the fact that he is a police officer and has to serve in the line of duty while all of his life is crumbling behind him. But what's amazing about this film is that you have moments of sheer desperation and moments where you feel like if you were in that situation, you would not handle it well. And they give us that. Jim Cummings gives us that. He gives us that situation of, this is terrible, I'm going to handle it terribly. And that doesn't happen too often in films. It's refreshing. Instead of just everything falling apart and then eventually going right for somebody, it kind of falls apart and then goes okay for somebody. That's kind of what it's. I mean, that's what life is, really, is things that are bad happen and they just happen to happen because that's life. But you might be asking, hey, Jeff, what makes it the best film? Let me tell you. This film, made by a filmmaker who, frankly, has never done this before and can't afford to even do this on his own. This film feels so genuine and so truthful that it could have been a story that was shot like a reality TV show. And I don't mean that in the bad reality TV show way. I mean that in the way of, this could have been an outsider looking in to somebody's life and just watching as everything falls apart. And it handles it in a way that you feel sorry for the main character, and then immediately you want to laugh. And you don't know if that laughter is from you're laughing with him, or you're laughing at him, or you're laughing because you're uncomfortable. The way that he described it is laughter is supposed to be a brain sneeze. And I think that that is exactly what this movie is a series of brain sneezes. Got a lot of heart. The character of Officer Arno is just, he could be anyone. And I think that there's something that anyone can relate to that this guy is going through. I mean, we've all suffered a loss. We've all had a relationship go wrong. If you have children, I mean, you know that feeling of, my God, if my life fell apart and I lost my kids, I don't know what I would do. If I lost my mother, I had to go through a bitter custody battle with my ex-wife, who is just not a good person, and I still had to keep up appearances at work and deal with all that. I commend him. Jim Cummings. I doubt that Jim Cummings will actually see this, but if he does, bravo, man. I would honestly, if you could reach out, I'd love to work with you. If that's at all possible, I will put up lights for sandwiches on one of your sets, because I have that much faith that you will be nothing but successful in the years going forward. I would love to be a fly on the wall just to learn a few things, to get that experience under my wings, because the stories that you're telling are the exact stories that I want to one day tell. So I know this was kind of all over the place, and I don't know if this is something that's going to continue. I don't know if I even like this setup. I just felt like I had to talk about this film. And I don't have anybody to talk to about it other than my wife, and I've already talked her ear off way too much, so I'd love to talk to some people who have seen it, or to encourage others to see it and then come back and talk to me, because I think it's an amazing film and I think it's worth watching. And from what I see, it doesn't have a great amount of distribution, and I think that is a shame, and I wish that there was more. And I if I had money to invest to distribute it myself, I would jump on that immediately. But unfortunately, it's not a thing. Thunder Road. If you get a chance to see Thunder Road, it is on Vimeo and iTunes or iMovies or whatever, and a couple other things. I'll try to include some links in the description. And that, my friends, is the greatest film. The best film. The best film. of 2018. And who knows when I'll do something like this again. Maybe not. Maybe yes. Whatever. Thanks. Da, 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 da.